Good afternoon and welcome to BDTV Roundtable, where we discuss key issues as they affect our country and, of course, beyond. As usual, in the studio, I have with me two gentlemen, the Sunday editor of BusinessDay, Mr. Agomuo Zeblunon, and, of course, the deputy editor of BusinessDay, Mr. Odinaka Anudu. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Without much ado, we are going straight into the topic that we have for this afternoon, and we have three issues to look at today. And first is the issue of certificate forgery in Nigeria. It has become an embarrassing situation in the country, and so we're going back and forth every now and then. We have this issue of certificate forgery coming up, especially among politicians. And of course, I know that it's also there in the private sector because, of course, the public sector is always where the focus is because we have people who are supposed to kind of live above board, given the fact that they are occupying public offices. But of course, we know that in the private sector, those issues are also there. And of course, we're also going to be looking at the defection of Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State to the APC from the PDP, the party that gave him the ticket in the first place. And of course, lastly, we're also going to be looking at the peace deal, brokered by some mediators, including the United States and President Trump, in the between Israel and the Hamas over the Gaza crisis that has claimed a lot of lives, over a period of 2 years now. And so, gentlemen, without wasting much of our time, I will start with you, Mr. Zeb. We have this issue of certificate forgery every now and then. We see it coming up in Nigeria, like I said, especially among public officer holders, and we are wondering why it's such. It's as if we haven't been able to overcome it. One will happen, and then of course you will think that that's the end, but suddenly you see another one, and so, and I'm wondering why is such a rampant, issue case in Nigeria, issue of certificate forgery. So I would like just to ask you, Zeb, why is it that the issue of certificate forgery, why is it such a rampant case in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you, Josh. I think every society gets the kind of leader that he deserves. When the rule of law is not having its effect, or being made to have its pride of place in a society, the likelihood of people behaving anyhow is very high. And that is what we are seeing in Nigeria. Bad behavior is all over the place, particularly among our leaders, because people are not being made to pay for their bad behavior. It appears now that it has become a norm. Everybody is just going the wrong way and showing bad example. Certificate forgery did not start today. We have heard about the Vance and Evan cases in those days. We have a former speaker in the House of
Salisu
Buhari.
Yeah.
We have heard about the former finance minister in the administration of Buhari, Adoshu. All that, a lot of them. The latest being that of the Minister for Innovation, Nnaji, who just threw in the towel a few days ago. You have asked, why are people going into such fraud? It's because our society condones it, so to speak. Why would someone who did not get a certificate and the person claims to have graduated from a very known university, as known as big as University of Nigeria and Nsukka, and claim that he got certificate and did not get it? And not only that, he also went allegedly to forge the discharge certificate NYSC. So it shows you how brazen people can be in doing wrong things. Well, the jury is still yet out on what is the motivation or what motivated him to do such a thing. But I know that there must be people who knew that he was not being true in what he was doing, that at the right time they pulled the rug under his feet, and that is what we are seeing. But would this teach Nigeria a lesson? Are we going to learn anything from there? I don't know, because these things have happened over and over again and nothing is happening. And it is this thing is much more pronounced among politicians in the country, which tells you that the Nigerian political circle is anything goes. And that is why you are seeing people also who delight in cutting corners these days. You see in our educational system, people are being more fraudulent than ever, because when you challenge them, they'll say, all our leaders are there, do they have certificates? So people no longer respect our constitution. People no longer respect our laws, because the laws are there, just there. Nobody is enforcing the laws. Nobody is sending people who do the wrong things or bringing necessary punishment on those who have misbehaved. And that's why we are seeing all these things we are seeing now, which is very, very unfortunate in the country.
Thank you, Zeb. Odinaka, before someone is appointed a minister, there's usually the process of that's because, of course, the Senate will have to confirm that such when there's a nomination for the president nominates someone for ministerial appointment, it goes to the Senate, who will have to do the confirmation before the person is eventually pronounced as a minister, right? But again, there's also the process of whereby the DSS and other security agencies are made to check. You cannot do a background check on the person. And so during such process, during the process of the background check, the certification, the school the person attended, and of the profile, the biodata of the person is usually they go through it. And so when it, like in the case of the minister who had just resigned, Uche Nnaji, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. So you are wondering, does it mean that the process of the background check that usually the DSS does and other security agencies also do, does it mean that it's a waste of time? What did they do? I mean, because they could have discovered that this man doesn't have what he claimed, to have.
My simple answer is that they didn't do their job, because if you will notice that when you have a case where the University of Nigeria and Nsukka is saying that he has a certificate, that's a different ballgame. But it didn't take persuasion. It didn't take any pressure for UNN to come out and say that he didn't graduate. So that shows you they could have told the DSS or anybody who cared to listen.
And they had no.
So it means that the DSS, anyway, the Constitution says they are SSS, not DSS. So it shows that they didn't do their job. I listened to a senator last week saying that they said it's not the job of the Senate to examine certificates. It's just like when you want to get into university. What the university does is that the university actually goes back to WAEC or NECO, depending on what you came in with, and they verify. They do it first year. They also do it before you graduate. That's the job we do. And you spoke about why these things happen, because it's not just that the society condones it; it's just that the society rewards it. So in Lagos, there is Oluwele. I can tell you. In fact, there is a guy in Daily Trust now who went to Oluwole and forged 2 certificates. He used it to get 2 jobs. Because a certificate, he used it to get 2 jobs. So it's not just in the government. I'm talking about it's in public.
It's also in the private sector.
It's not just in public. It's actually the society that does not do thorough investigations. So when you are doing, that's why it's very funny. Everybody is just in a hurry. If you are in the media now and you want to do an investigative story, everybody will say you're wasting time. By the time it takes you 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. There was even the one we did that took us more than a year. And everybody will just think you're wasting your time. So because the society wants you to, that thing to come out today, tomorrow. And it has also permeated into the fabrics of the society. We're always in a hurry, don't want to do the basic things that should be done. And that's why everything keeps getting worse. So my simple answer to this is that the TSA didn't do their job. The Senate didn't do their job. All the people who were supposed to investigate, in the moment they noticed that the Senate was, what they do in the Senate these days,
take a bow
and go. And it's actually a shame to Nigeria.
Okay, Zeb, can you then help us understand the damage this has caused to our society? I mean, this forging of certificate, and people just wants to get this thing, even though they don't really qualify for it. They didn't go through the rigor of actually acquiring something. They just get somewhere, forge a thing, and move on. I mean, there should be something that the society is suffering as a result of this.
Yes. First, it has made us to be seen as a society that lacks integrity. Transparency is not there, you see. That's why if you travel abroad, they will allow every other person to pass. But our passports, once you have Nigerian passports, you're a suspect.
Fortunately.
Just by citing you with that passport, you are a suspect. So because what is happening here, we think that people outside are not aware of, but they are aware of all these things. And it may shock you. It's not just intentional forgery of certificates. We have institutional or departments in institutions that are supposed to be issuing certificates, authenticate. Okay, you have acquired a piece of land, for instance. You go to the office and say, I need a certificate to show that I have this piece of land. The same people will tell you, this is this, you pay here, you pay here. And you pay. You didn't know that the certificate they are issuing you is not the right thing, it's not gazetted, it's not captured. And you have gone home thinking that the certificate you are parading is authentic. Particularly, or fortunately, maybe you send your driver, you send your
house help,
someone to go. Then you got there. The person got there. They say this is 5,000, this is 2,000, but the same stamp. Then they will stamp. Yeah, boy will say, okay, I have paid. Perhaps he'll be happy. And came back and he didn't tell you that this is how much they collect 2,000. Where they should have collected 5,000. At the end of the day, when you go back and you are parading the certificate, and they say, sorry, it's not authenticated, it's not captured in our database. So, which means it's fake, but you are not aware of it. It's the same institution that gives the authentic certificate that also give the fake. So, a lot of things is wrong. as an institution, as people, we need to look inward and see how these things can be, how the system can be sanitized. It's the system that allowed this, and it has to be sanitized.
But Odinaka, what's the motivation? What motivates people into going into things like that?
You see, we live in a society that rewards bad behavior. Do you understand? Do you know that if I want to have PhD now, it doesn't take me anything. I'll just go to Oluwele in Lagos, and then I get my PhD, and I even get a job in university as a lecturer. You will be surprised that nobody will verify.
But why haven't the police invaded that Oluwele?
I'm coming to that. So, remember you're asking why, what is motivating it? When you have a society that believes so much in certification, so people, if you don't measure up, you try to do that. So imagine if you're working in BusinessDay, for example, or working in any other place of work, and then where you need a certificate or certificates for promotion. If you see your mates getting promotion, whereas you are still probably at the lowest rung of the ladder, you will find something to present. And you'll be surprised that even the private sector may not even be motivated to verify. So by the time you know, these things are they are they're like ladders. So by the time you begin to climb the ladder, you get to somewhere, even with a first certificate, you will no longer go back to the start. You begin to deceive yourself and presume that you even have the certificate. Do you understand? So if you see people who have 4 certificates, sometimes they started somewhere with those certificates, and by the time they grow, they use this same certificate to continue growing because you can't go back again. So, the motivation is that you want to be like others. The motivation is that you want to measure up. It's shameful. It's actually a shame now for you to see a young man, a young woman who didn't go to school, among those who go to school, who went to school, sorry. So, we look like inferior to them. So, in order for you to actually obliterate that shame among your mates, among your people. So, and I want to tell you, I told someone that someone like Nnaji could have presented a primary school certificate, which is acceptable under the Constitution. So, however, he will not do that because the President of Nigeria will not hand over a minister like Science, Technology and Innovation to a primary school holder. Secondary school holder.
He wants to belong.
Do you understand? So, if you're a president and you give him, if you start trending, because Nigerians have a way of getting what people submitted to the president. So it's not trending that this man, a man who is going to head the Ministry of Innovation and Science and Technology, whereas we have professors everywhere, are using a secondary school graduates.
Okay. All right. We'll go on a short break. When we return, the conversation will continue. Welcome back. This is still BDTV Roundtable, where we discuss issues as they affect you and I in society. Now, okay, we've been discussing the certificate forgery in Nigeria and the implication of that in society. And of course, the next topic we want to discuss is the defection, as it were, if you may call it so, of the governor of Enugu State, Mr. Peter Mbah, to the APC, which is just the point is that what is attraction in the APC actually? Because we've seen it in the other states, we've seen it in the Akwa Ibom State, now we have seen it in the Enugu State, and from what we are hearing, more actually could actually still go to it.
Some of the governors of PDP,
so the APC.
I think from south,
And also
from the south. So let me start with you. What is attraction?
Ashomole answered that question long ago by saying that once you join APC, your sins are forgiven. So that's the first point. And you begin to wonder what people... So people are actually, some of them, based on what I heard, some of them are trying to protect their interests, businesses, and all that. But I don't think it makes any sense. So if you have a business in Lagos and you're a governor in any state or governor elsewhere, the governor will take the president will take over the business. Does it really make sense? In a nation in which you are a stakeholder, I don't think it makes any sense. So people think, I heard him back saying that now it is time for the Southeast to be heard, as if Hope Uzodinma at the national level, as if Hope Uzodinma, those who were there before him, were Dave Umahi, who were even through closer to Buhari. We are not actually talking to Tinubu, sorry, talking more before. So I think it's selfishness. It doesn't make sense. I remember in 2007, if I'm not wrong, when PDP had 32 governors, they were very boastful. They were saying that because they had around 2003 election, they had about 28. So by 2007 election, they had, after Yerudua's election, they had about 32. They were boastful, They were, but after that election, they began crumbling. You understand? In the next election, 2011, by the time Jonathan was, they were 23. You understand? So I do not think we've seen. So these are just repeating. History just repeating itself. At the end of the day, we'll be fine. If you know. So I think it's a shame. People who are moving from one party to another should lose their seats. Is that not what the Constitution says? They should lose whoever were
elected on a
platform.
But the Constitution does not.
We copied the US. I'm coming. We are copying the American system. In America, a Republican cannot win an election and become a Democrat. It doesn't happen elsewhere. So why is it that people win an election? A typical instance is this: in the South and Southeast, which are traditionally not APC states, because people have their sentiments, whether you like it or not. If you go to Florida is just a Republican state. You do understand? Even if they don't win an election at the central level, they continue to be Republican, except things happen, and it takes time. So why should a traditionally PDP state or traditionally APC state move to governor, or move from one party to another? Doesn't matter, because you are interested in being at the center.
It's going to die from what we have seen so far.
Well, what we are doing is just at the rim of permutation. PDP, since after the 2023 election, you and I know that a lot has gone so bad with the PDP. And because of the disagreement arising from the choosing of their presidential candidate in 2023, the party started having serious problems. And the inability of the party to purge itself of some bad elements who are living within the party and is also inflicting more pain on the party has even deepened the misery of that party. Whether the party is going to live or not, but what I'm going to tell you now is that if the governors of the party are teaching the party, it's a sign that all is not well with that party. The party in a single swoop has lost 3 governors. Whether the people are following them or not, it does matter a lot what the governors say when the election comes, or where the governor stands. The people may not wholly follow, but they have their own followership. But I must tell you that PDP is going to have it very difficult in winning election in 2027, because many Nigerians also, apart from the governors, have lost faith in that party because of the way the party has acquitted itself in time past.
Odinaka, many fear that what is happening could actually lead to what we call one party system, where only just the APC. Just show that whatever.
I don't know what to mean by that.
And you also share this sentiment, and where does this leave us? Leave Nigeria as a democracy.
We already have a one-party state, state system, yeah. So
we still have
you asked him, as he was playing diplomacy. PDP is not. Nobody should be asking whether PDP is there. PDP is buried. PDP is buried, and when you bury somebody, you forget him. So if you want to win an election now, and I want to give you exactly justify my position. If you want to win, there has not been anybody who won't become president in Nigeria without having the majority of governors. So no matter how you try to just say that they are not important, whether it is PDP or APC, anytime they won an election, presidential election, they had majority of governors. But now the PDP had 10 at some point. No,
the coalition.
Excuse me, is that what you think? How many governors were actually with Jonathan? Some of them were just PDP. You remember the name of even the chairman of the party.
Even the chairman.
So don't use that 2015 is not a yardstick because they betrayed Jonathan.
Yes.
Because especially most of them they were from the north. Because Jonathan actually upset the arrangement, the north-south dichotomy, arrangement. So the point is that PDP have 10 governors, and many of them are now moving. And I'm sure that by the 2027, we will probably have those in the north, probably 5 or 4. How will we defeat someone who has 25, 30? So PDP is dead and buried. Then look at another party, Labour Party. Crisis everywhere. Crisis everywhere. How will they win an election? Look at ADC. ADC doesn't even have one governor. How will they win an election? And you're saying that we don't have a one-party state. So when one party commands over 30 states in this state, what do you think is happening? We already have one party because one party state is about majority. It's not that everybody will be one party. We already have Labour Party, who is actually the main opposition now. It's the social media. It's not PDP. It's not ADC. It's actually the social media guys, young people who are in the social media. That's why anytime they make a noise in social media, they react. It's not the party. We're already there. That's the point. And it's a very dangerous phenomenon. So because people are benefiting from it, people think it's fine. But institutions of democracy are gradually being destroyed. Think about judiciary. Where a minister is saying that no judicial member officers will live in a rented house. Is that done? Should that be said?
Providing accommodation for
that. So where the National Assembly is, go and check the data on Tinubu's debt this administration has. I checked it this morning. I've been following it this morning. I was amazed. Courtesy of the National Assembly that says, go ahead, anything to do. Last week, they came and brought $2.3 billion and they signed. This now, they are going what Magna, they're going on roadshow, yes, nearly $2.5 billion, which is a debt. Now think about institutions of democracy like the media and civil society, and you find that all of them are either compromised or partly compromised, fully compromised or partly compromised. It's not healthy for a democracy, no matter where you stand. Even if you are supporting the government, if I were the president, I wouldn't be comfortable.
Yes. Because
this same president fought for democracy. He was the one going in the street fighting when PDP was dominant. In Lagos here, you remember the story of Obasanjo versus Tinubu? Because Obasanjo had the majority. He was oppressing the president and the governor of Lagos at that time. He fought. People fought for him too. So why would it be different now? Why should it be under Tinubu that all other governors will join his party? And people think they are doing him favor.
Okay, so thank you. So from what Odinaka explained, does it mean that it's not right for 2027?
Well, from the look of things, I think the battle is already won. Because I think the governors are happy because of too much money that is rolling
Not
into their
trickling down to the
coffers.
people.
That-
Too much money that's not
and,
trickling down.
which unfortunately is not trickling down. People are suffering and they are earning billions from the FARC every month. So, and this is the reason, or one of the reasons, they are moving in droves into APC, and they are singing the praise of the president, thinking that as if the money comes from the president's pocket. It's the money that belongs to everybody. And their thinking is that by the time they move to APC, I think they will get more money.
They will have time to steal.
So
They will have time
and
to,
nobody
because that
will
money is
touch
stolen.
them. Nobody
Part of
will
it.
touch them. But one thing I have always told people is that kingdoms rise and wane. PDP told us at a point that they will rule for 60 years. And Vincent Ogbulafor said the PDP will rule for 60 years. Where are we today? Where is PDP? So no matter what happens, something will happen. APC may continue to rule for 20 years, but at a point, they will disintegrate and something will happen. So nobody should be alarmed by what is going on. It's politics they are playing, and the personal interest is at the head of it all.
If let me also add that if people these guys are moving to APC because APC is the lives of the people are better, but we complain.
Yes.
But why will a governor be happy that he's earning more money? Yeah, the people are suffering. Go to the grassroots and see how people are struggling to have 3 square meals in 24 hours.
Beggars all over the place.
It's not translating to the lives of the people. So why are people poverty? Look at the poverty data that World Bank released the other day. We are poorer now than even last year.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to be here, and when we return, the last topic. Welcome back to this round 3. Just before we wrap up, let's just look at what's happening. Interestingly, I think it's a peace deal for the people of the particularly Palestinians who the last 2 years have been under
Bombardment.
Defense force following the attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023 by Hamas. So, but as it is today, I think please, what we've seen so far is that some mediators, from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, the United States, which by President Donald Trump, we've at least been able to construct attend Nigeria.
Peace deal.
So we are seeing Palestinians gradually returning to their, even though the city has been largely destroyed.
Devastated.
But of course, we're also seeing the release of the Muslims that
Israelis.
So this is returning to the Gaza.
The trouble, yeah.
But the really answer, you see this as a lasting peace, because we've seen things like this before, since 1948, when Israel declared independence, and of course the nation by Arab nation, of course, in
48 when they
it's been back and forth. There's been no love lost between the Arab nation, particularly the Palestinians who feel that they should have their own state. I mean, sure, the two-state solution has been, it's not really quite been achieved.
Yeah.
That's not been achieved.
Yes.
This resolution has been blocking that. I mean, are we seeing what we can call lasting peace?
Yeah.
Between Hamas and Israeli force.
Thank you very much. When we were growing up in the village in those days, we are seeing a dog and cats always fighting. It will be naive on the part of anybody to believe that we are seeing the last, because there will always be that hostility arising from one part or the other. Because now, Hamas struck first. It was in retaliation that Israel began to bombard Gaza and all that. So, but I am happy with the peace deal that has been achieved, because people have died. I am happy yesterday when I saw the prisoners or what the hostages being released to their families, and the happiness, the reunion and everything. So I was very happy, and I felt also bad that many people have lost their life because of the senseless war. And I think I should, in summary, commend President Donald Trump. That was international diplomacy at the height of it, by mediating to ensure that that carnage will end for now. So let me give for just to chip in a word, because yes,
let me just okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Gaza has been largely really, and of course they do not have
They have to rebuild.
What should the
international community
be doing right now for Gaza?
I'm going to be very controversial, but if you listen to me, you will notice that what I'm saying will not be far from the truth. Now, ask yourself a question. 1,000 something Israelis were killed on October 7, 2023. Now, at the end of the war, 67,000.
Yes.
Last record, 67,000 has mostly been killed by Israelis. Netanyahu. So the question is this: who will rebuild Gaza? Netanyahu destroyed Gaza. Netanyahu destroyed Gaza. How many journalists died? I hope you know the number of them. More than 1,000 journalists died. Nearly 2,000 journalists died from the war. That time was just, the Israeli forces were just bombing everybody, which is contrary to the United Nations, most of the United Nations deals you have. Even when Lord leaders like French President Donald Trump, even when they intervened, Israeli forces were going to the hospitals, bombing hospitals, bombing Red Cross people who were coming from humanitarian agencies. There was a Nigerian who was held in.
But that's Hamas now. Some of the
yeah, they say as a hiding place, there are bunkers.
When you have a war, you have propaganda. Don't forget, when you have war, you have propaganda on both sides. So what we ought to believe is what you see. Because if you look at propaganda, propaganda is on both sides. But what I'm saying is that why should Israeli forces be killing journalists? You don't do that in a war. Why should they be killing children? You don't do that in a war. Netanyahu has violated several deals, United Nations, several things that should never happen has happened in this Israeli war, because it's not, yes, Hamas started it, but don't forget that Hamas is a political party. People don't know this. It's a political party. So Hamas does not mean Palestinians. How many Palestinians are members of Hamas? Very few. But the war was waged as if Hamas is the same thing as Palestinians.
Hamas are the...
And also, there are Christians on both. People don't know. You have to go... No, I'm saying political party. I didn't say religious. I said Hamas is a political party. But this war has been waged as if Hamas is equivalent to Palestinian. They're not the same. As a matter of fact, the guys who did that were terrorists.
They're terrorists.
Do you understand?
Terrorist group.
So, but how we did it? What I'm simply saying in essence is that Israel's response to that attack has been overly excessive.
it has been generally condemned.
Which is why I'm saying
Yeah.
that the world I'm coming.
for rebuilding. For
I'm
rebuilding
saying
purpose.
that my position is very simple. Trump has drawn up 20-point deal. Within that deal, there should be you should create a space for Israelites rebuilding. They should contribute to rebuilding Gaza. That's what I'm saying. Because most of the bombings were done by them. I mean, these guys are. If you look at the war, it was never an unequal war. It's like Russia Ukraine, because Ukraine, if not Ukraine was backed by these countries here and there, Russia would have destroyed them by now long ago. They are not equal. But the way they were bombing, destroying, killing.
Why is it that Russia-Ukraine war has continued to linger? Now everybody is focusing on Israel and.
They have resolved this, and I think that they focus now.
The difference is that the personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So Israel is an American 5 and 6,
Yeah.
but the Russian president Putin, he's the same places with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They will have it. How many times have they met now?
Yeah.
Once or twice.
Right.
But once they finish meeting, he will start bombing Ukraine, because he doesn't feel that he wants that deal he wants to be the person giving that condition
to determine what.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, I need to thank you so very much for thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending time working on the conversation. We believe that all things can be well with
Yeah.
Yeah.
We look forward to it and we no longer be getting
About war and all.
We also look forward to a day in Nigeria that we no longer be hearing about Certificate Forgery and all of that. Defecting from their party that
I also look forward to having independent candidates.
Yeah, I think the ongoing constitutional review should be
Part of the discussion.
consider an independent candidate so that we can run on our own.
Yeah. Platform.
This is where we're going to wrap up this conversation. Thank you so very much for watching. My name is Joshua Bassey. Come here. We're again next week. Please stay tuned.